Hey y'all, Melissa here with you today, and today I'm going to be showing you how to sew this mesh bag. This is great for washing small things in the wash. Maybe you have really little bitty baby socks you need to wash. I use it for makeup rounds that are reusable so that they don't get stuck in my washing machine. It has a tab to cover the zipper, and then it just zips open so that you can put the things you want to wash inside the bag and keep them from getting caught in your washing machine. So let's check out the materials and how to sew this. I have 2 pieces of mesh netting here. I think it might actually be mosquito netting. I find this in the utility fabric section of the store. And these are cut to 6.5 inches tall by 9 inches wide. Then I have 4 pieces of fabric here that are 2 inches tall by 9 inches wide. And then I have one more piece of fabric here. This is actually a piece of bias tape. So it's double fold bias tape that I've like flattened out here so that it's 1 inch tall and 4 inches wide. And I want these folded edges on one side. So I flattened it out and now it's like 1.5 inches tall by 4 inches. You don't have to use bias tape for this. You could actually just cut a piece that's 2 inches wide by 4 inches and then do, the 1/2 inch fold to the wrong side. I just had bias tape that matched that was already folded, so that's what I'm using here. And then I've got a zipper that I've shortened down to 9 inches. And if you don't know how to shorten a zipper, I've got another video linked below that shows how to do that. So check out that little skill. And then I've got my scissors, my pins, etc. So the first step to make this is going to be to do our zipper here. And what I want to do is I want to take 2 pieces of fabric and I want to place them right sides together down one side of the zipper. So basically I'm making a zipper sandwich here. I've got the zipper in the middle and then I've got those 2 fabrics on either side. And I am going to add a couple of pins here because I actually need to add this piece to my zipper sandwich too. So let me pin here so that you can see what I'm going to do. So once this is sewn, what we want it to look like when it's finished is we want the zipper sticking out on one side and we want 2 pieces of fabric and we want them folded down so that it's like right sides of the fabric visible on either side. We also want to create a little cover here that the zipper is going to hide under so that when this is zipped closed, this zipper pull is not catching on things in the laundry. So I'm going to take out this pin and I want the folded edge of my short piece to end up here. So I'm placing that on top of the zipper and then I'm reconstructing the little sandwich that I had made, and I'm going to go ahead and pin this. So there we go. And the last thing I'm going to do here, I'm going to move and keep these fabrics together. I'm actually going to pull my zipper pull a little bit here and start with it open and then I'll move it. And that's just because when the zipper pull is there, it can force your needle away from the zipper teeth. And I want to get nice and close on my stitching here. So you cannot see the zipper, but you should be able to feel your zipper teeth here. Let's take this to the machine. Okay, you'll notice I have a zipper foot on my machine and I'm placing it so this little part of the zipper foot here is on top of those zipper teeth, and that'll help me get my needle nice and close to the zipper teeth, and I'm gonna stitch. Okay, I'm gonna stop here. I'm gonna go into underneath my fabrics, and I'm gonna pull that zipper pull back towards the top. There we go. And now it's out of my way up there too, and I can put my presser foot back down and continue stitching. So here I have this pressed, and now I want to repeat this process on the other side. I'm going to start by unzipping my zipper, and then I want to make that zipper sandwich over here. So placing one piece of fabric, and then the other one, and I've got that tab piece in the middle. Make sure your zipper raw edge and your fabric raw edges are lined up. And since I am sewing on the other side now, I'm going to move my presser foot to the other side. There we go. And then I can put that end in. Okay, so as you can see, that's stitched up exactly the same way as I did the other side. And now I just need to press all of this, and you can see that I cut off the extra off this tab. As you are stitching, the one thing you need to watch out for when you're doing this side, because you've got this tab, when you're messing with the zipper and moving it past the needle, you may have an issue since everything's getting pressed down tight with the zipper hitting that tab, and you just have to make sure that you are going underneath it. Jinxed myself here. You have to make sure that you're going underneath it when you push it past, even as you're stitching, so that it doesn't get stuck there and you're trying to push it away and you can't. So let me go ahead and press this, and then we'll move on to attaching the mesh part. Okay, here we are all pressed. I've got right side and wrong side, but I see the right side of the fabric on both. And what I want to do is we're going to do kind of a burrito technique here. So I want to take one of my pieces of mesh, and I'm going to align the edges on one side and then fold up the rest of my mesh here. I want to roll around, and I'm going to pin this so that it stays out of the way. So these are my two wrong sides together flaps. I'm rolling this one around, so now they're right sides together. Okay, I'm making myself a little burrito here, and the mesh and the zipper are in the middle. And I want to pin here and make sure that I only have 3 layers. I've got my 2 outer layers, and then I've got mesh in the middle. Now, just to make this easier on me later, I've opened the zipper a little bit. Make sure that mesh, the rolled up mesh and the rolled up fabric is not getting caught, and finish off this end of my burrito. All right, I am going to stitch across that seam. And I am going to switch to my regular presser foot. I'm only using about a 1/4 inch seam allowance here. I'm just lining it up with the edge of my presser foot. The main thing is to make sure that you're not catching any of that mesh or fabric from the middle of the burrito. All right, now that I have this little burrito, I need to turn it right sides out. So basically the easiest way to do that is to start pulling all your fillings out. All right, and you can see what we've got here now. We've got mesh on one side. We've got the side that we just stitched. And when we go on the inside here, it's also just mesh and right sides of the fabric. There's not any raw edges here. All the raw edges ended up on the inside of our burrito. So we're going to do the same thing on the opposite side here, where we are going to be placing the other piece of mesh. And you'll notice I unzipped this a little more. I've got the other piece of mesh. I've lined it up with the top piece. Got to roll up both pieces of mesh this time. Take them into the middle there and roll that burrito around. Okay, remember that you're getting This is actually on the one end will be 4 layers because you've got your tab and your outer and your mesh and then your other outer fabric. All right, let's take that to the sewing machine and do the same thing again. Here we go, y'all, all stitched up, and just like last time, I'm gonna start pulling the filling out of my burrito. Okay, so when I unroll all that mesh, you can see I've got mesh on each side, and I've got my quilting fabric pieces in the middle, and all the raw edges are enclosed on both sides. I'm going to give this a quick press before we move on to the next step. And again, this is nylon coil. I want to keep my iron on a low temperature, and I'm even going to use a pressing cloth this time so I don't melt my mesh right now. All right, y'all, we are ready for the final step. Now, before I sew up the sides and the bottom, I am going to just kind of clean up some of the threads hanging off the ends here. And then I'm going to halfway unzip my zipper pouch, and I want to fold it in half. I want to make sure that the zipper teeth are actually pointing up when I pin the sides here. And I also want to make sure that my burrito edges, for lack of a better word, are matched up. And I find that pins really don't like to stay in this mesh fabric, like they just fall right back out. So I'm going to switch and add clips around these sides. So I've got these sewing clips linked below in case you need to get your own set. But they're just a little more stable than pins on really sheer fabric like this. All right, let's take this over to the machine. And because I'm kind of going to be finishing this edge at the same time that I'm stitching, I'm going to be stitching right on the edge here. I've set my machine to a zigzag stitch. And it is 4 millimeters wide by 2.5 millimeters long, the one that I'm using. Now, as you're sewing the mesh, you may find it has a tendency to want to tunnel. If that's becoming too problematic, you can put some tissue paper underneath, and that'll help stabilize it. If you have a self-leveling presser foot, this is a great place to use it, and I've also linked a video below about how to use that. Watch out for this little metal piece on your zipper if it's there. You don't want to hit that with a needle. I'm going to back stitch and then cut the thread. All right, then this is why I left the zipper open. All you have to do is turn this right side out. And there you go. You have a mesh bag that is perfect for washing things. I use it for these makeup rounds, and in fact, that can make a great way to present these as a gift, because then you've got the makeup rounds, you've got the bag to wash them in so they don't get lost in your washing machine, and once it's zipped up, you can push the zipper under that tab and make sure that that stays tight and isn't catching on other things in the wash. Check out this playlist for more zipper pouch ideas and types that you can sew.